Welcome back. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you had an amazing day. Got some interesting things I want to cover with you guys. It's interesting looking around and how everyone's panicking because a lot of people are drinking the news Kool-Aid out there, thinking that because the news right now is strongly suggesting that that Soudani's out and Maliki's in, so everyone's of that opinion right now, and that's just not going to be the case. So, but it's interesting seeing everybody panic. So anyway, let's get into the news here. All right, here we go. Let's get started. Let's cover the news. So let me change screens here. Okay. All right, so we're not gonna. All right, let's cover the news. We're not going to cover everything. A lot of this is not real critical to right where we're at. An economic expert confirms the possibility of resolving the issue of goods entering through unofficial ports, I believe. Yeah, unofficial border crossings in the region. So in this one, it says an economic expert says Iraq can realistically resolve the problem of goods entering through unofficial border crossings, especially in the Kurdistan region. The solution centers officially on implementing the Escudia customs systems. There you go. In other words, going international, working with tradable currencies, and getting back on the world stage, and along with revaluing their currency. Speculators tighten their grip on markets. The dollar at 150,000, and the private sector goes 45 days without salaries. So again, that's because trade's about to come forward and the dollar is their tradable currency. That's why the dollar or parallel dollar is going up, which is not good for Iraq because it's raising their inflation. The current stages. Oops. We can cover it like this. That's fine. It says, Al-Faili, the current stage requires expediting the approval of service and economic laws. At the end of the day, these are laws. These are the 150 plus laws that have been waiting for a very long time for the rate to change. Okay, such as the oil and gas law, Article 140, that kind of thing. That's really, these are laws waiting for the rate to change, so they're not going to go any further without that. And here's another one too. It just says the next phase will focus on passing laws related to citizens. Again, 150 plus laws pending, waiting for the rate to change. Let's look at this one. Al-Maliki and the U.S. Charge d'Affaires discuss strengthening bilateral relations. Bilateral relations means kind of in a way business back on the world stage, okay, after the rate changes. That's what's being discussed here. In the next stage, what they're going to do, business relations together between Iraq and the U.S. Developments in regional and international affairs, right there, international affairs. So there you go. Okay. Everything Iraq is showing you right now, they keep telling you how they've got to do these 150 plus laws, all their new international steps, all these services, which are reform services they're going to provide to citizens, requiring the rate to change. Next article here. Prime Minister in charge d'Affaires affirmed the commitment to prioritizing dialogue in resolving conflicts. Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani met with Joshua Harris of the Charge d'Affaires in Iraq. Discussions focused on expanding U.S.-Iraq cooperation, developing relation across economic, investment, development sectors. Both sides reviewed regional and international developments. This article is very similar to the last one. So, again, where they're going to go in the next stage or next phase. Right there. Let's look at the next article. Customs announces a package of measures to improve customs and operations. Okay. The General Authority of Customs announces a continuing reform package to modernize customs operations and strengthen control at border crossings. Director General Thamar Kwazam Dawood said the measures align with the Ministry of Finance directives, principles of transparency and good governance, core reform step, electronic linking of weighbridges at all border crossings, adoption of digital weight readings for construction materials and reinforcing steel, improve accuracy in customs duty calculations, reduce human intervention. So anyway, you guys get the point here, but this is critical to going international. It's them setting the stage towards and preparing preparations to go international. New directives from the Sudanese government regarding electricity billing. Now this was an interesting one because again, this is also international preparations. Prime Minister Sudanese issued new directives to reform electricity billing and revenue collection. He chaired a high-level meeting with the undersecretaries of the Ministry of Electricity, directors of electricity distribution, companies across all regions, improved collection rates during 25, progress in reducing technical and commercial loss, efforts to remove illegal connections to the national grid, continued nationwide meter installation campaigns, okay, shift from traditional to smart meters, again, because they're going international and going more digital, complete load control, which is load balancing, in all governance and production centers. So there you go. They're going international. They keep showing you that from so many angles. At the initiative of UNICEF, a conference was held in Basra building a child-friendly city. We don't need to cover that. So the Speaker of Parliament announces the names of the candidates who met the legal requirements for the position of the presidency of the Republic. Now, let's talk about this because we've got a lot of stuff that I brought forward for you on this morning, okay? You know what? Let's get into this on a generic level, and then what I'm gonna do is search and find the big bundle I posted for you guys this morning. So again, these are the 15 qualified candidates that are eligible to be the president of the Republic, and Abdul Latif Muhammad Rashid is the current, which is number 9. He's the current president of the Republic, just so you guys know, okay? No big deal. Anyway, though, one thing to pay attention to in all this, the fact that they're at this point and they knew who their 15 qualified individuals are or prospective candidates are to be voted on, that means they're now closer to being ready to go to parliamentary vote to complete the position of the president of the Republic, okay? That's really what I wanted you to see here. Now, the real thing is, when might they do this, though? When might they actually vote on the president of the Republic? Hold on. I posted this morning. Give me a moment here to find it. Okay. I think it's this article right here. There's about 4 articles in here, okay? Yep, here's what we got. Okay. First things first. The coordination framework will announce its candidate for prime minister next week. Now, I've seen a lot of individuals' comments. I've seen some other gurus' comments on this, and it's I don't know. I find it comical because people are panicking and stressing, thinking Maliki's got this. There's no way in hell that Maliki's got this. Maliki is too corrupt. Okay, the powers that with Iraq, you got to use common sense on some of this. And plus, many of you, I don't know how much time you have in this. Most of the ways that they lie to you in the news, and in the news they lie a ton. Majority of the lies come around political news. They put out tons of political lies in the news. You can't hardly trust it. Anyway, there is no Maliki in this. But anyway, so what they're saying is they're going to announce their choice or selection for prime minister next week. But hold on. It gets better. The coordination framework candidate for the government will be announced immediately after the election of the president of the Republic. So, whenever they have and hold the parliamentary session to complete the president of the Republic, they're saying they're going to announce the selection or consideration for prime minister right after that. And they're saying that the coordination framework will announce its candidate for PM next week. Okay? There's more. So here's 13 candidates that remain out of the total 81. A Kurdish movement is expected. Al-Sarahi reveals the date of a pivotal meeting to decide the presidency. Okay? An important meeting will be held early next week at the leadership level between the two sides, which is the PUC and the KDP, with the aim of resolving outstanding issues, okay? And kind of narrowing down a candidate, narrowing it down to a single candidate for presidency right there. So anyway, what they're suggesting here is they might have the parliament session to possibly vote on the president possibly next week and possibly announce the prime minister at the same time. Now, just again, this is just simple common sense. If they select Soudani as the prime minister and he reselects his cabinet, that's the second half of the formation of the government could be formed very quickly after completing the president, again by re-electing Soudani and his cabinet, okay? And so I wanted to show that to you guys. Now, let me go back to where I was higher up. It says the Iraqi drilling, we don't care about that, hold on. That's not real critical. Let's look at this. Al-Habusi and Al-Wasawi discussed the issue of finalizing the remaining presidencies and forming the cabinet. Okay, again, this is more of just a preparation planning. It's just general discussions. All right. Trump praises his envoy to Iraq, an exceptional negotiator on a complex issue. Good old Mark Zavia. And again, I think he's going to be going there after the government's formed, closer to when the rate changes and Iraq's going in, because his job duties involve having international level discussions with Iraq. So again, I think he'll be going there closer to when the rate's about to change after the government formation, again, when they're more preparing to go international. So I know that there's quite a few people that think he's there, and again, everybody's entitled to their own thoughts. But anyway, that's when I think he's going there. The Iraq's central bank's foreign currency reserves have decreased. Central Bank of Iraq reported a decline in foreign currency reserves as of October 31st, and there's the figures right there. Iraq central banks, yeah, we covered that. Okay, Parliament calls on the formation of a National Tourism Council. Hold on. Experts call for the establishment of a National Council for Artificial Intelligence. 2,000 companies participate in the Baghdad International Fair. 2,000 companies, that's a lot of... And again, we don't know if these are foreign companies or just local companies within Iraq. They don't really state that. I would assume it's more local. Well, they call it the International Fair, though. So, hold on. It says as part of... Actually, let me see if the key points mention anything about... Oh, it says first-time participation from countries from Latin America, additional European states. Okay, so it is quite a few foreign companies. Large American companies confirm participation, so there you go. So, yep, those are the foreign individuals that are there attending because Iraq's about to go international. Hold on, guys. I'm just looking to see if there's anything else to cover. Anyway, I just wanted to cover with you the key parts here. Basically, we don't give a crap about Maliki. Forget about that clown. He's out. It'll most likely be Soudani, because just remember, the powers that be, the world powers that be, would not allow Iraq to put a corrupt clown called Maliki back on the stage. It makes sense for it to be Soudani from two angles. For one, he's turned the whole country around and achieved the most overall stability. Second, by reselecting Soudani and his cabinet, the government can be formed twice as quick. Okay? It's that simple. And they've already suggested to you that's what they're going to do in what I just read to you when I scrolled down here, which was, hold on. Yeah, right here. They suggested to you that's what they're going to do, because when you look at these articles, they're saying the coordination framework will announce its candidate for prime minister next week. They're saying here that the candidate for the next government for prime minister, wait, hold on. Yeah, the coordination framework, the candidate for the next government will be announced immediately after the election of the president, okay? So they're suggesting that after the president's done, the timing of the formation of the government can almost be cut in half. And it could form very quickly once the president's done, so the speed could tremendously pick up. Think about that carefully. Okay. So, and again, these articles are suggesting that they could do all of this next week. Complete the president, announce the PM, and then we'll have to make sure that the announced or selected PM is Sudani, and we'll have to see what he does with his cabinet to see how long that's going to take, because the Parliament can't do a final approval till Sudani has his cabinet in place. Okay, so anyway, we're in a very good spot. Hope everyone's doing well, staying safe, and having a good time. Thank you for joining, and have a great evening. Take care.